Hey there! Today we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of living in Chesapeake. And we're going to start right now. Okay, so starting with the pros, and I have to start here because Elijah wants me to. One of the pros of Chesapeake is we have some really cool parks. And Elijah and I live near the Chesapeake City Park, which is his favorite because not only do they have a really nice walking path across around the entire park, they also have two fenced-in areas that are dog parks where you can actually unleash your dog. One of them actually requires some kind of a membership. I snuck him in there once, but I realized that you're not supposed to be in there unless you have a membership. And I think to get the membership, you have to show that your dog has been vaccinated with all the paperwork. So I like that. That's pretty cool. If you just Google the best parks in Chesapeake, you'll see right here the Chesapeake City Park comes up as like number one. It's also cool because they have a farmer's market there. They have art festivals, wine festivals, all kinds of cool stuff. And then the Oak Grove Park you see here is pretty cool. Indian River Park's great. And there's a few others. The Great Bridge Lock Park down here is really fun. They have some really nice piers that go out through the marsh and you can get some, great views of the water. So really cool parks in Chesapeake. Elijah and I live in Chesapeake, so we're definitely qualified to have an opinion, right, buddy? We live in the Greenbrier area. Just to put this in perspective on the map, here is the outline of the city of Chesapeake. It's a pretty big city. Now, let me go ahead and show you different parts of Chesapeake. So when people ask me about Chesapeake, it depends on what part you're talking about, because we have Greenbrier Area, as I mentioned, right over here where Elijah and I live. This is more of I would say the closest thing to a downtown area that Chesapeake has, more of the city life. If you go over here, you're in Deep Creek part of Chesapeake. That's a different vibe. Even further west, this is the Western Branch part of Chesapeake, all the way up here. And Western Branch, it actually borders Suffolk and it borders Churchland, which is part of Portsmouth. Now, coming back this way, one other area I'll point out is the South Norfolk area. This part up here in Chesapeake, we're a historical type area. It is actually Chesapeake, even though it's called South Norfolk. It is not Norfolk, it is Chesapeake. And then the most desirable areas to live in within the Chesapeake area is going to be Greenbrier, where I'm at, or when you go down to South Chesapeake, over here you'll find in the Grassfield district, a school district. You have Great Bridge. Then when you go further east towards Virginia Beach on the south side, you're going to be in the Hickory area down here. And the Hickory area is a lot more farmland, country-like vibe. Go ahead and zoom out and just show you what I mean when I talk about Hampton Roads. So Hampton Roads, it really is broken down into two sections. There's the south side down here, and then there's the north side up here. And on the south side, what we got is Chesapeake, obviously. The most desirable city on the south side, or the entire Hampton Roads area, is Virginia Beach. Okay, it's also the most expensive area as well. And then we have Norfolk. Norfolk has a really cool downtown area. There's a lot of great things about Norfolk to consider. And if you're thinking about Norfolk, check out my video I made, pros and cons of living in Norfolk. And then also, if I zoom in right here, we have Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth is this entire area here, but also it goes across the water over to the Churchland side. And it borders Suffolk and it borders the Western Branch right here. Portsmouth, the cost of living is much lower. And then Suffolk, when you go further west, this is the central part of Suffolk down here. Let me zoom out. Suffolk is a very big city. Suffolk comes all the way down here to the border of North Carolina. Now, most of Suffolk down here is all dismal swamp and farmlands. And then when you get up to the northern part of Suffolk, I really like this area up here. This is the Harbor View area. If you're looking for a golf course community with some really cool waterfront options, no flood zones, North Suffolk specifically is a really cool area to consider. And then you have the north side of Hampton Roads. Now, if you work on the north side of Hampton Roads, maybe you're at the shipyard or you're maybe at the Langley Air Force Base or something, you wouldn't want to be living on the south side, because as close as this is, it's actually quite far when there's traffic. So this is the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel right here. And this tunnel is very congested, and oftentimes is very slow to get through. If there's a wreck, oh, it's going to be a long day. It's almost better if you can avoid that to come around here through Suffolk, over and through the Monitor Merrimack. And then also through Carrollton too. This is another good option if you're that far west. The travel to and from is not ideal to be making on a regular basis. And there's also tolls to consider too. So if you were making that travel, or if you lived anywhere in Hampton Roads and you're traveling through these tunnels in the Midtown area, you're paying a toll each time, and that certainly does add up to a high monthly bill that you would want to consider. So depending on where you work might depend on where you want to live. And then we have Newport News, that's part of Hampton Roads, and we also have Hampton. Okay, now when you get further up north, it's not too far before you get to Williamsburg. Williamsburg technically isn't part of Hampton Roads, but it's next door neighbor. So this is the Hampton Roads area, also known as the Tidewater area. I just wanted to explain the geography, that way you understand the Hampton Roads area and have a general idea of it. Now, I've been selling homes as a realtor here in the Hampton Roads area for almost 10 years, helping buyers buy homes and sellers sell homes. So if you're moving to the area and you have any questions and you just want someone to talk through this with to figure out where's the best place to live based on where you're working, based on your lifestyle and what your goals are, I'm happy to have those conversations. My phone number is right here on the screen, or you'll find it in the description. And there's a link in the description too where you can book me for a consultation appointment, and we can hop on a call or hop on Zoom, or if you're local, we can meet up. I'm here to help. Another pro is living in Chesapeake, you are not that far from the beaches. From where I live, Elijah and I could drive to the oceanfront beach in about 25 minutes. We could drive up to Chicks Beach in about 25 minutes. So we're fairly close to the main beaches. If we wanted to go to Sandbridge, probably about a 45-minute drive to Sandbridge. Another cool part of Chesapeake is the Greenbrier area that Elijah and I live in. In this area, we have a whole lot of restaurants. We have, I would say, more to do than anywhere else in Chesapeake. However, the Greenbrier Mall is currently in foreclosure, and it's going to be shutting down. I am not sure yet what that will become, but maybe they're going to build a hotel, or maybe they're going to tear it down. I don't know, but that's a big space right there that's getting shut down here in the upcoming future. However, the Summit Pointe area, which is, I would say that's part of Greenbrier. If not, it borders it. The Summit Pointe area is a newer development that they've invested $330 million into, and it's still growing. It feels almost like you're in town center over in Virginia Beach. At least it's the closest thing that Chesapeake has. There's over 1 million square feet of office space. Currently about 1,400 residents living there, and there's no condos there you could purchase. However, there are luxury apartments you can rent. It's situated on 69 acres of land, and across the street there, all that land is being developed as well. Not exactly sure what all's to come, but I have a feeling that before too long, Summit Pointe is going to be very similar and comparable to Town Center in Virginia Beach. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to Chesapeake is the cost of living. Now, I'll eventually make a video to go more in depth on this topic, but this is a pro and a con, just depends on how you look at it. If you go back and watch my video, Pros and Cons of Living in Virginia Beach, I just made that video maybe 2 months ago. At the time I made that video, the median housing price in Chesapeake was sitting right around $340,000, whereas Virginia Beach was at $370,000. Since then, that has certainly shifted. Now we see the median sales price in Chesapeake has gone all the way up to $380,000. And this spring, we have certainly seen a whole lot of market demand, especially in Chesapeake, which does cause the prices to go up. Let's take a look real quick at Chesapeake. When you look at the median sales price, it is sitting right at $380,000. Selling for an average of 100% of its list price. Now, the reason why this number can be skewed a little bit is we do have some properties that are outdated, wallpaper, smell like mothballs, grandma's house. Sometimes those will sit on the market for a while and they'll get negotiated way down. However, a hot property in a hot area oftentimes will sell for far over the list price, but it still averages out to be 100%. You can see there's currently 1.5 months of inventory, and that's what's causing the prices to go up. So to put that in perspective, 1.5 months of inventory, what that means is If we were to stop listing properties today, we would sell out of houses and run out in 1.5 months. That means it is definitely a seller's market. A balanced market between buyers and sellers is about 4 to 6 months of inventory. So we're far below that, which is causing the prices to go up. Another thing I want to make sure I clarify on, when we're talking about the median sales price, this is listed with both attached and detached. So if you're looking for a single family detached home, then the median sales price is actually $413,500. Big difference. Let's look and see what Virginia Beach is sitting at. Okay, it's gone up to $374, and it's selling for slightly over the list price, and they have 1.2 months of inventory, so they're even lower on inventory. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this number go up in the next few months. So if we're comparing Chesapeake with Virginia Beach, the median sales price when you include attached properties like condos and townhouses, sure, it's higher in Chesapeake, but when you're looking specifically at single family homes, it still is more expensive in Virginia Beach than it is in Chesapeake. According to bestplaces.net, Chesapeake is rated 3.5% higher than the national average. However, it's rated 0.7% lower than the average in the state of Virginia. To live comfortably in Chesapeake, income-wise, according to bestplaces.net, you need to be making at least $68,000, $69,000 a year for a family, or 52 to 53 grand a year for an individual. But of course that depends on how you live your life. Okay, another con of living in Chesapeake is the flooding. We are in a lower elevation here. Of course it depends on where you live, and if you're moving to Chesapeake, you're gonna wanna be aware of the flood zones, especially before purchasing a home. You wanna make sure you have full disclosure of the flood zone that it's in, if it's in one. According to riskfactor.com, 36.6% of the homes in Chesapeake are at risk of flooding in the next 30 years at some point. A lot of the flooding comes from the storms that we have, the nor'easters and the hurricanes, which since I've been here over a decade now, haven't really experienced much in the way of hurricanes, but we have had some pretty intense storms. And I think that if you're closer to the coast, you get beat up a lot more from that. So there certainly is a lot more flood zones over in Virginia Beach and up in Norfolk than what you'll find down here in Chesapeake. Another con to living in Chesapeake is the pollen. If you have issues with allergies, you may not enjoy living here, because if you check out the video I made of reasons why you don't want to move to Virginia Beach, that was a big topic because the studies have shown very clearly out of 100 cities that were rated, Virginia Beach is the 11th worst, I think it was, and we're right next door to Virginia Beach, so it's not any better here. However, Virginia Beach in this area can be considered one of the best parts of the country to live in if you have asthma. One more con that I want to mention as we wrap this up to consider is there's not a lot to do in Chesapeake. As I mentioned, the Greenbrier Mall is shutting down. The Summit Pointe area is pretty cool and it's growing, but outside of that, there's not a lot going on. There's really not a downtown area. There's not a club life. It's not a beach town. We're not far from the beaches, and if you're looking for that, you may want to consider Virginia Beach or even Norfolk. If you want to check out the Norfolk area, the Ghent area, the downtown area, there's a lot popping there compared to what you'll find down here in Chesapeake. So depending on your lifestyle, depending on your goals and what you're going for, you may find that there's not a lot to do in Chesapeake. If you got some value from this video, do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. That will help these videos get out to more people. And again, if you're moving to this area and you would like some help to come up with a game plan on what that may look like, I'm here for you. Feel free to reach out to me directly on my cell phone, or you can use the scheduler link to book me for a consultation. If you are in the military and you're moving to this area, I am a military relocation professional. I'm also part of a network at MilPCS. You can check out milpcs.com. We don't just work with military though, we work with all individuals looking to buy or sell a house. Elijah here, he's my marketing dog. He really helps me out a lot, and his job is to look cute. Let me know in the comments how he's doing. I think you're nailing it. He loves his life. Say bye. Bye.